How many have run Windows 8? I mean, that's right. All right, you guys have tried. How about Server 2012? Good. All right. Tonight we're going to talk about Server 2012. And you know, when David invited me, I said, "Well, great. I would love to come back." I mean, when you have that kind of tea, I love it. I'll come. Right? I love this. And I said, well, all right, people coming in, and every engagement, every speaking engagement I had, I always thought this is the opportunity. This is the opportunity that I can make a connection with you guys and say what I want to bring to you guys. And I always thought something like, you know what, I want you to be able to, when you leave and you want to try it, without the need to read a book. So I thought, let's find something that's fundamental, that's essential, that's beneficial to you. And then you can go ahead and get started with the Server 2012, because this is a major, major release. Now you hear people every time we release something with all the most significant release in Microsoft. This one really is, because not just the speed, not just the UI, the architecture, the design concept, they all changed. And if you really see through the UI, you will notice that we are really moving into a new era. We are moving into uncharted territory in terms of the productivity, in terms of how we interact with data, with people, and all that. And this new release is going to set that stage for us. Now, we as IT professionals, you may think that, well, we're not going to run Server 2012 maybe until 2 years later. Young, do I need to know this? Yes, you need to know this. And here's the reason why. When we release the products, and you bet, people will start trying to find out what this product is about. And if you're looking for a job, chances are they're going to ask you, do you know anything about Windows 8? What do you think about Server 2012? So even just for your career-wise, for employment, you really need to get up to date. Not to mention, this new release, it takes some time for you to really kind of get the feeling with it. This is not just another release of you getting, okay, Active Directory, I know that. Permission model, I know that. Windows Security, I know that. It really is more than just that. So what I want tonight is go through some very simple things, and then when you leave, you can go and download this and try it. I have a new title. I recently went through a plastic surgery and all that, and I have a new title. Technology Evangelist, that's what I'm called now. And this is my two presence in the internet. The first one is a personal blog. The second one is a syndicated channel that I use. AK.ms is also known as Microsoft, and that is also my Twitter. If you have not connected with me in Twitter, go ahead and follow. I have a lot of announcements that I will make. In upcoming weeks, we are starting Windows Server 2012 launch event. There will be one in Charlotte. So we're going to make an announcement very quick, in a few days. So make sure you get everything set up, and so you'll get the updated information. Tonight I have a couple items I need you to follow that. First, I want you to take an opportunity to create your Windows account. Basically, create a live ID or Hotmail account. And what you want to think about is, you may have a number of accounts, right? But you want to make sure you have one that is like your personal account that you're going to use it to connect everything with you. Because the next release, Windows 8, Windows Server 2012, you will see the design is changed. Now, what we are trying to do is give you one device and connect everything. Now, those you run Windows 8, then you know that you can use Windows account to log in, basically your internet identity, which is like your Live ID, your Hotmail account, or your Outlook.com. We recently just started to let people try Outlook.com, which you get really nice email experiences. Outlook.com, you can go and just create an email account and use that as your internet identity, because in the future, when you use Windows 8, you will use that to log in, and it will connect everything for you. It will connect your Twitter, your social networking, and your work. So it's your personal and your work will all connect together through this account. All right, so you want to think about that and go ahead and create one. And then I need you to go to this ak.ms/h to download the server 2012 bits. You do need a Windows account to download it. So it's about 8 gigabytes. Download it and install it and try it. And I'm going to go through some of the things that you can do. But that's where you can get the bits, right? And learn about the UI. I know a couple of folks have tried the Windows 8, so you must know the UI. Who likes the UI? Who hates the UI? Well, I tell you what, it's more about the UI. It's not just the UI. There's really more to it. I talked a little bit about that. But you need to get familiar with the UI. All right? So download the bits, get familiar with the UI. I published 3-part based upon the beta bits. The RTM bits are a little bit different, but you kind of get the basic, how you navigate through the UI without a touch device. Because if you use a touch device, then it's a different story. But if you use traditional input, like keyboard, like a mouse, and how you navigate through, how you navigate through this new UI environment. So go ahead and learn that. And this is what we're going to talk about the UI, and we're going to talk about some of the installation option that you have in Server 2012. That's what I'm going to talk about tonight. And I call it Focus on Your Core Business. And you'll find out in a minute what's that about. They are free training. It's called Microsoft Virtual Academy. So it's ak.ms/VA. You do need a Windows account to register, right? Once you register it, it will send you an email to your Windows account, and you will activate the Virtual Academy. Once you activate it, you can go through the Virtual Academy to do self-training. There's like 30 or 40 different tracks. They have Windows Server 2012, Private Cloud, System Center, Office 365, different type of security, different type of track of content that you can go through. And I tell you how I use this content. These are like a level 200. So this is not going to make you an expert, right? If you go through the security track, it's not going to make you an expert. But if you give them all the prerequisites. So normally what I use this is, for instance, if next Tuesday I have an Office 365 meeting, or they're going to talk about Office 365, or I am going to an account to talk about, let's say, Windows Azure, right? So I may not be an expert on Office 365. So where is the one place I can quickly kind of get a baseline? Virtual Academy, all right? So for you, if you have an interview coming, right, and the interview is about cloud security, use this. Well, at least you get a baseline, and you kind of understand and can make a connection. Your security may be focused on on-premise. Then here, you can kind of go through the cloud track. You can understand how you make your expertise connect with what we're talking about in cloud. That's how I use it. So it's a great content. We spent tons of money to develop this. So I highly encourage you. I also encourage you to go through that and complete a track so you get a complete story. Right? There's like 40, 50 tracks there. And I put in a page /free. There's a free ebook for Server 2012. Okay, there's a Microsoft Press book. It's based on beta content, but very close to RTM. So you get a chance to get a free ebook, and you don't go to bed without reading it. All right, so that's your call to action, right? Get your Windows account, download the bits, learn the UI, and we're going to talk about some of the installation options that you can start practicing, right? And go through the Windows Academy, Virtual Academy, go through different tracks, get yourself up to date, and get that free copy of Server 2012 free ebook and start reading it. All right, I want to kind of talk about the UI, so I want to kind of show a little bit. Okay, we know this, right? XP, right? And so in Windows 7, we're bringing a little bit different. at the, for instance, like the application, like the Office. Anyone knows what this interface, which version this is? That's 2003. That's 2003, right? And then this is 2007. This is Ribbon, right? When we introduced this, I was a technology specialist for the Office 2007, and when we introduced customers, people just screaming, "No, no, you guys doing it again. No, this is going to ruin my work, ruin my career. We're done with it. No, 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 no." Now today, everybody uses it. Everybody uses it. Why? There's a reason we designed it this way, right? This is the O interface. You know, when we started Office, like Word, a long time ago, we had like 50 commands. Back to like XD, Office XD level, we had about 800, 1,000. In 2003, we had about 1,500 commands. Each command ended up like in an option somewhere in the, a drop-down option of it. And so there's like 1,500 total. In Office 2007, we have like thousands. I can't remember, we have like 5,000, 6,000 commands. There's no way we can use a traditional way to present that many options. And many customers, they never use it. They didn't know it's there. That's why we changed the design. The point I want to make is, there's a reason we go from here to here. Right? And the same thing if you look at the desktop. This is the guy that refused to leave. Right? This is the guy that refused to leave. We did a great job on this one, but this is like, now it's like 12-year-old technology. You really need to think about it. So I thank you very much. It's been a good time, but please go away. Right? So that's Windows 7. That's Windows 7. And now we move into the next version, Windows 8. Right? Well, you know what? You know what? Honestly, I speak with many people, and I do respect people who have different opinions. And I also recognize that there's a reason why people feeling so strongly about sort of design. Why they? I have people who told me, "I will never use this. I will never need it." I said, "That's all true. I believe you." What about your customer? Will your customer use it? Are you able to support your customer on that? Right? You need to think about that. And also, chances are, going forward, there will be more touch devices coming out. Right? You go to a different company, you switch job, you work with a partner, most likely they will have some type of touch device in place. Because more and more, we will encounter this. So you like it or you don't like it, that's a different story. But we need to be able to support it. We're IT, right? We solve problems, we help people. And when they use this device, we need to be able to have knowledge, understand why it's designed this way, how am I going to support it, the pros and cons of it. But that's the Windows 8, right? On server, right? That's the 2008 R2. This is actually very recent. 2008 R2 SP1, great product. And you ready for it? Well, thank you. That's the Server 2012 interface. Right, that's Server 2012 interface. I'm sorry?
It's a server, not a tablet.
That's right. That's right. Well, I tell you what. Let me share this with you. Let me share this with you. A lot of the time, when we think about it, I say, well, I would never need a touch device. I use my laptop. It's great. And I'm not going to use a tablet. Right? I said, yeah, that's all true. But one thing you need to recognize is touch is about touch a surface, right? That surface is not necessarily a computer screen. Are you with me? You touch a surface. That surface is not necessarily a computer screen. So, if your OS are able to handle the touch UI, that surface, what's been defined, is really just a flat surface. Any flat area is a surface. So, and this is a reality. This is a reality. It just has not been mass-produced yet. This is a surface, right? This is a surface. In fact, this is a surface. project your screen to a surface, you can do I/O. Are you with me? Okay, so with that in mind, this is what I'm telling you. The touch OS is important, right? In the future, I would not be surprised we will have a table. You and I, we're talking about the topology of our network. We're using the table. We're drawing and discussing on the table. It's all touch UI, right? This is why I say, yes, you probably don't need it when you have a laptop. But there are other times, which is coming very soon, that we may need that. That's why I say, keep an open mind. This is really very exciting stuff, right? Probably not with the traditional keyboard and mouse, but soon there will be different type of device coming up. So just think about that. So what I want to bring you is, this is the UI that we are now facing when you use Windows Server 2012. So let's take a look, all right? So let me get out of it. And, all right, so this is a virtual machine that I'm running here. All right. When you finish installation, this is what you see. Now, these are called tiles, right? And basically, it's a different design. But here's a desktop. Probably in the near future, right, until you change device, most likely you coming in, the first thing you do is probably just go to desktop. Right? So there's really not that much to navigate through this. This is not that complicated. If you use a touch device and you swipe it in a traditional, conventional operation with a touch device, you can operate it. But if you use a mouse and a keyboard, here's what you do. All right? And there's only like 3 or 4 things you need to remember. First, this is called Start Screen. When you do Windows 7, you have a Start menu, right? And remember, before that in XP, you have a Start button, and in Windows 7, we changed that to something we call Pearl, remember? And that drives everybody nuts, right? So that's where you put the Start menu, right? Now, we don't have that anymore. We have this called Start Screen. This is your baseline now. This is wherever, if you're not sure where you are, I'm not sure where to get what, you want to come back to here. Okay? To get back here, the Windows key. The Windows key on your keyboard. So, this first thing you want to remember, if I'm not sure where I am or how to go anywhere, just go back to here, press the Windows key, you'll come back. All right, I'll show you in a minute. Second thing you want to know is, once you come here, right-click, you see the All Apps. Okay? Right-click, All Apps. This is all the application that's been installed in the system. Now, a couple of folks, they say, I want to be able to see my application. Actually, if you think about this design, it's very similar to what we have had. Because remember, you go to Start menu, and then you go a list of application, keep driven down. Now, what we give you is the Start menu is a screen, right? And then all the applications are actually here, called All Apps screen. Those apps that you frequently use, you can put them into the Start menu. The Start screen. Those that you use every once in a while, it'll leave space for you. And also, when you finish installation, application will show up here. All right. So once you are here, of course, if you're doing touch device, you can just swipe and get the screen moving. But here, that's all your screen. A couple of things you want to kind of do is, first, your command prompt. Right. We're a system administrator. I can't live without command prompt. Right. So first, you right-click and you say, ping it to the taskbar. That's on the desktop. Or on the Start, that's your Start screen. Right? So this is probably the first thing you want to do. I don't know about you guys. I also always love Control Panel. So right-click, ping it somewhere. Right? So these are kind of things you want to do. If this particular one was wrong or something, you just right-click and put it somewhere you want it to be. This will keep you productive. Right? So when you finish installation, the first thing, see all the application there. All the applications you frequently use, put them in the taskbar or on the Start screen so you can get productive. Once you have that, now how do I go back to the Start screen? Windows key. You're not sure? Windows key. Okay? Windows key. So at this time, we finish the installation. I know where my programs are, and I have done certain things. For instance, I have do this. You know what? Let's do advanced firewall. Let's put it on the start, right? The start is here. Okay. So you get your program in place. You can be productive. At least I know those programs I frequently use. They're here. Now here is the account that's logged in. If you click, you can lock or you can sign out. That's how you sign out. If you move your cursor to the four magic corner, I call it lower left, upper right, lower right. I call these four magic corners. When you use traditional input device, mouse and keyboard, these four magic corners become magical, right? If you move your cursor to lower left, you just move there and stay there. It shows the last application that you use. Sort of let you kind of toggle between two applications. You click that. This is the desktop. I move my cursor over here. I come back. All right. Now, if I'm here, I can't get out of it. What do I do? Windows key, get back to the start screen. All right. So this is when you do support. Your customer say, "I don't know where I am." Well, press Windows key, so I know you're out in the start screen. Things like that, right? So that's the lower left corner. Upper left. Let me open the desktop here. Let's say if I click the desktop and I go back to the start screen. Upper left will show you all this application that's currently inactive. What happened is the new design, the application never closed. It's just like your phone. Right? When you open in phone, when you do the application, when you jump to a different application, that application is actually kind of in an inactive state, but not closed. It's the same design. So the application never closed. It's just when you get out of it, when you do something else, it releases the resource and it's just kind of sitting behind. And then when you come back, it becomes active. All right? So what happened is those applications that's been waiting, if you go to upper left corner, move your cursor there and stay, it will show one, the last one. But if you along the left edge, move the cursor down, if there's additional active application, let's say you open 3, right? You listen to the music, you play game. No, you will never do that. Right? And you open email with different application, and then you come back to the start screen. All that application will be listed out here. This will be more relevant when you use Windows 8, because Windows 8, chances are you open a lot of applications, you'll see it listed out. And this is where you can get to that application quickly. That's the upper right corner and the right edge. All right? When you use a touch device, you simply just do the swiping, that application will come back. But in the keyboard and mouse, that's what we do. The upper right, all right, or lower right, brings up this we call chunks. All right? When you see it, if you move your cursor up along the right edge, it becomes highlighted. All right? This is important. This is another place if you're not sure where you are. How do I go back? First, there's a start here. Okay? There's also search. The search is everywhere. You're not sure where to find the application, do a search. So it's always there. If you do a touch device, you just use your thumb to touch the left edge, that will come out. Right? So when you support your user, you're not sure, just ask them to use it to search or something, they will find the application. There's another setting. This is another place that we need to pay attention. This setting has 2 parts. The upper part is contextual. Lower part is the business of that installation. So this is basically the machine configuration. This is just specifically to this current screen, wherever that screen is. So for instance, this is the start screen, right? So this is related to the start screen. If You don't want to see admin tool. Admin tool, if you put it here, it's gone, right? But if you want the admin tool for this particular screen, I can bring it on. And the admin tool, if I show it, if I bring it here, it will show up like that one. Okay? Now, this installation, this is the installation configuration. So in Windows 8, you also see some PC settings, but basically this is most frequently used configuration here. If you want a soft keyboard, right? You want the network. Another thing is probably a lot of people are asking is, how do I shut it down? This is where you shut it down. You shut down from here, right? If you see the account, you can log out, but you cannot shut down. You can certainly always use magic 3 key, come to here, and then you can sign out. But there's still no shutdown. Shutdown is always a switch. Shutdown. Does that make sense? All right. So let's review quickly, because when you finish installation, you can quickly get productive. First, I see the start screen. Right. First thing I do, right click. I see all the apps that's been installed. So I take a look and bring up all the apps that I frequently use. I highlight that right click. I can ping it at the position I want. All right. Specific for some application, for instance, command prompt. Here you run as an administrator. You have to come here to do it, or you do it from the desktop.
Yeah, that's good.
Right. And when you're not sure where to go, you always use Windows key to get back to the start screen. All right. So once I get my application ready, right, and I also know the 4 magic corner. Right. If you go into lower right, you can get setting, you can start, search, all that. For instance, search. Let's say I want control panel. Right. It's always there. Firewall. So you're not sure your application because it could be a lot of application here. You keep installing it. It can be hundreds, right? So that's how you can quickly find your application. So once I'm there, I'm ready. I'm ready to go to work. Okay, so let's go to desktop. All right. This is kind of the same thing with traditional desktop we have. All right. And once you come here, right, what you want to do is a couple of things. For instance, there's a server manager. Now, this interface, when you finish installation, it automatically brings it up. Right? And I don't know about you guys, but when I first used this, it took me a while to figure out how to disable that function. Because I don't want it to always come up. Because when it initializes, it sometimes takes some time. I just want to do certain things, right? So I don't want to wait it. And that configuration is really at the manage. Server manager property. And here. Do not start server manager automatically log on. That's where you do that. Another thing is, you look at the interface, you can add rows and features. This is just like Windows Server 2000 R2. You have different rows and different features. But where do I remove a row and features is also in property here, remove rows and features. All right, so these kind of things that we do so often, you kind of know where it is, and then you can be productive. The tools is basically your admin tools, right? Your event viewer, your resource monitor, your service applet, right? PowerShell, it's all here. Now, so once you finish the installation of your server, you go ahead and configure your server, right? So you do add rows and features. Right? You go through this kind of, we know this routine, right? There's a different option. Now, in this presentation, I won't get into it, but I want you to kind of know the flow. So you can kind of play with it a little bit, right? You want to add a feature, and here's the machine. And here is the server rows, right? So you said you want Active Directory, that will be ADDS, that will be service, right? You want DNS server and all that. Hyper-V, this is where you enable Hyper-V. This is all the same thing. The next thing is the feature. Now remember, 2000 R2SP1, row and feature, you have to do 2 different sections, right? You have to add row first, and then you come back at feature. Now it's combined, right? And also in terms of automation, if you do kind of scripting. It's just everything bundled together, and so it's much more streamlined. What I want to point you to here is, well, a couple of things. I mean, we know these routines, right? The LAN services, right? By default, you don't have network. You want network, wireless network, you have to add this, right? All that we know. What I want to point you is really this guy. User, interface, and infrastructure. That's our experience is here. Okay? In 2000 R2SP1, desktop experience is kind of bubbled up. So you see it. Now it's kind of hidden here. And specifically, I want you to take a look. There's 3 items here. One is called graphical management tools and infrastructure. The other is server graphical shell. These are the UI components that we're going to talk about in the next 20 minutes, right? But it's under this user interface and infrastructure. Now, here I cannot uncheck it. Why? Why? I cannot uncheck it. Because this is add. If I want to remove it, how do I remove it? If I want to remove this feature, how do I remove? Okay? All right? Now, all right, so that's how you add feature and all that. So once you finish installation, you come here, you configure it. Good. What I want to talk about now is specific to the installation options that you have in Server 2012. This is a new feature. Previously, in 2002, actually in 2008, we introduced Server Core, right? Server Core is a minimized installation, does not have a UI component, it's only have a command prompt interface, it's a smaller footprint, minimize attack surface, minimize the requirement, memory requirement, disk requirement, all that. We know that. And so in production, many shops, they deploy Server Core as a standard image, then they deploy several full versions to do remote management. Server Core is great because it's more secure, smaller footprint, very easy to deploy. Then we do remote management. Sometimes it's kind of painful because, I have 200 there, it's all standardized. I just need to place that particular Server Core. In 2008, what can you do? If you want UI, you basically have to rebuild it. The UI, the installation cannot change after the fact. If you say, I'm going to install Server Core, that's it. Right? We have a lot of feedback from customers. So in 2012, you get the option. All right, you get the option. So here's what we're going to do. You know what? I'm not going to run the slide. Let's just stay in the machine here. All right. So there's a couple of things you can do. First, let's go ahead. If we do a remove, let's go and remove the features. We're talking about the interface, right? So let's say if I want to remove the graphical component. All right. This one, graphic management tool and infrastructure, is called minimal server interface. This guy, graphic management tools and infrastructure, this guy will give you the minimum. What it is you get a server core, but you get MMC and server manager, which is this guy. So you have a server core, but you got this UI. This is pretty much the server configuration and management. You can use this to manage multiple servers, right? So this is a server core, but give you this capability and an MMC. MMC, what do you do with MMC? For instance, you manage a certificate, right? You do MMC snap in. You add a certificate folder. You can manipulate or install or request renewal certificate. That's also the function that we frequently do. This minimal interface gives you that two important UI to make you productive. At the same time, still, it's a server core installation. This guy is called minimal server interface. This one gives you all the bells and whistles of the rest. So, if you take these two out, take both out, that's a server core installation. Basically, everything is gone from here. So when you do a server core installation, if you start with a server core installation, nothing is included here. That's a server core. That's when you boot up, you get a command prompt. If you do a full installation, you get these two. That's a regular UI. In between, you get this. If you take out this guy, just leave this guy there. You get a minimal server interface. Let me show you in a minute. So this is if you use UI to take care of it. Now you can also use the PowerShell, right? If we just bring up the ISE, the integrated scripting environment, you only need to learn 2 or 3 commands, and then you can be productive. So let me just bring up this screen. All right. First of all, this version will put in a lot of stuff here. Now you have intelligence. Make me feel like a programmer, right? You put in something that the system will figure out the commands for you. And also here, it's basically an entire list of the command. For instance, if I do a get Windows, right? You get Windows feature. This is a command we want to know. So you do get Windows, you see, IntelliSense, make you feel like a programmer. All right. This is the one we want, get Windows feature. This command will show you what's being added, the rows and feature, what's being configured in the system. And in ISE, you leave your cursor here, it will execute current. If you have a multiple statement, you can highlight it and execute as a one interaction. So I'm going to execute this. But this guy go out, query the configuration database, come back with all the configuration we have. And what I want to show you is, again, is the user interface here. The user interface right here. And then I show you that UI, 3 components. The first one, graphical management tool and infrastructure. This is the actual name of the object. Server graphic shell, that's the object. This guy gives you the minimum server interface. This guy gives you all the bells and whistles. You take out both, you get a server core. So at this time, right, you can actually remove that. If we remove the server graphical shell, if we do that, we can actually do that. Okay, I'm going to close this. If we do it through UI. All right, we do it through UI. So I want to show you another prompt here. Right, do this. I'm taking out the bells and whistles. I'm going to use minimal interface. Right, you go through it. I'm going to remove it. So what it does is going through that. Now I have captured the. Oops. Sorry about that. I've captured the state. So I'm going to move to the minimal server interface. So after that removal, we'll just go ahead and reply it. And so this will be after I remove that component. But give me the minimal server interface. What does it look like, right? So the minimal server interface is the server core installation with the server manager and NMC. All right. So finish installation. This is after we're getting back. All right. Let me just maximize it. You can just see it. Okay. This is the ISE. We still have ISE in a server core environment. This is the server manager. The other one is hiding behind. Okay, this guy. This is the original command prompt. Right? So I do sconfig. Right, this is server core. So this is a server core installation. Right? But with all the NMC, PowerShell ISE, several stuff there. Now in the server manager, you still have all kinds of tools here. But this is a server core installation. This is called minimal server interface. Okay. Now at this time, this is what we did. We just removed this bells and whistles. Now we get minimal server interface. If we remove this guy, server GUI management infrastructure, we do the same thing. We uninstall, and we just say with this name, server GUI -ngmt-infra. That will remove this minimal interface that gave me the server core. So if I go ahead and execute this particular statement, go ahead and remove it. Okay? So let me move to the next stage. After I've finished removing that, this is what the machine looks like. So all these options are available, so you don't have to commit, right? So you can start it with a full-blown UI, then move to server core, or you start it with a server core, and then I move to minimal server UI. Notice this is server core installation. I don't even get the account pictures. All right, we'll go ahead and log in. So this is a server core. At this time, if I do server manager, not finding it. If I do PowerShell, not finding it. But if I do sconfig, that's a server core installation. Okay? So allows you to move. So this will be very, very convenient, particularly in cloud environment. Why? In cloud, remember we deploy a lot of virtual machines, right? And chances are you probably will use a server core. In fact, that's the recommendation. The parent partition, we recommend using server core. So you have a lot of server core out there. And then, for some reason, right, you just need to get to that server core. I just need that server core. I really don't want to develop or deploy another set of image just for that kind of scenario. Now you can go there, change the UI, bring out that machine, do your UI stuff, right? And then go back to server core. Okay? Any question at this time? Yes?
What's the impact on other Microsoft products such as Exchange or Exchange or SQL if you don't install GUI?
No, this is just GUI component. So think about businesses.
They won't install on server core. Correct. They will not install on server core. They require the graphic interface to just do the install. What happens if you uninstall GUI after the install?
What about you install it? After that, you remove GUI?
Yes, after you install Exchange.
I don't know.
Break the tool.
I don't know. I do not know, but that's a good question. I can answer. We have an Exchange guy now. So you have to shoot me an email something. I'd ask him. This part is really, this is one of the features in Server 2012 which was feature on demand. What happened is, remember I do that uninstall? The GUI file actually is still there, right? It's just not being surfaced. So if you really want to move everything out, you have to give that switch, like dash remove or something. But you can also get it back later. You can say, I want to get that feature back. It's been removed. I want to get it back. You can specify what is the media, do the path. It will go out and find, as long as it's the same version, it will go out and reinstall the features for you. In Server 2012, that's called feature on demand. It's another flexibility that you can have. It's even sort of feature. You remove it from the system, the code actually, the bits actually gone. You can still have a way to get it back. But that's the installation feature, the three options. And let me just show you if you're not sure which one do I remove, which one do I use? Here's let's run through this real quick then to see it. All right. So this is full installation. You get the full server with UI. You get the desktop and everything, right? So what you do is you go to add remove feature. If you go to the add feature, you see what's being added, what's being included is server UI, and if you remove this guy, you remove the server UI, or you can use PowerShell, the same thing. For installation, you have these two components installed, and if you just go through the process to remove that one, and you reboot it, this is the minimal server interface. You do have the kind of a graphic account picture here, and you log in. You log in, the experience is just like, and you log in. What you see is you see the server core command prompt, but you do have Server Manager, which have all the tools that you need. Give you the UI to manipulate system configuration, right? And if you look at what's been added, going through the UI to see what's been added. All right. If you want to remove the minimal server interface, it probably will tell you you really want to remove the whole thing. The GUI component will be gone, right? And you say yes. And if you use the PowerShell, the same thing, right? You look at what's been there. Server interface, you have the graphic infrastructure component installed, and if you say uninstall it, right? You say uninstall it, this particular infrastructure component, take it out. When it reboots, coming back, the graphic account picture is gone. This is completely shrink down server core, and you only get a command prompt, nothing else. You don't have the server manager, you don't have the PowerShell. These three options you can jump around by manipulating that components, that two components, right? And this is sconfig, this is the server core configuration. To review quickly, if you do a server with UI, you do a PowerShell to see what's in there, these first two components. Again, that's the object name, right? If you remove one, remove the server graphics shell, that becomes a minimal server interface. And if you remove both, that becomes a server core installation. And you can jump around. Just use PowerShell to install this guy, become a minimal server interface. Right? There's a dependency. If you install this guy, it becomes a full UI, which I'm going to show you in a minute. This is what you get. But mainly, between this minimal server interface and server core is the server manager and MMC, which are two critical components that we need to do system administration. All right? Here's to show you the dependency. That's the two components. This bells and whistles that give you the full UI, depending on this infrastructure component. So if you install just this guy, you get minimal server interface. But if you install this guy, you use PowerShell to say just install this guy for me. Because it's dependent on this guy, it will automatically install this guy for you. So if you want a full UI, if you're in server core, I want to go back to full UI, you install this guy. Then it gives you the full UI. If you just want to go to minimal server interface, you do this guy. Okay? So knowing this dependency, then you don't need to read any book. You install the server, full UI. You say, I want to go to server core. Get rid of both. You go to server core. Which one you remove? You remove this guy. Because this guy, depending on it, if you remove this guy's gone too, right? Just take it out. You go to server core. Now you want to go back to minimal server interface. That's this guy. You install it, you get minimal server interface. You can jump around. So download the bits, practice this a little bit because this can be very handy. You're in a production environment, not server core. What's the certificate? You know, rather than do, I don't know about you, I'm really not that familiar with all this command. I'm used to that MNC snap in. Boom, bring it back. All right, two PowerShell command, bring it back. Do MNC snapping. Look at the certificate, find out which one is issued, maybe request one, import one, and then get rid of the interface back to normal. That's how Server 2012 is going to provide you. This is a free training I was talking about. There's a Server 2012 track. To make sure you register, remember you need to have a Windows account. Go ahead and create your Live ID, create your Outlook.com. Come here, register, go to the track. Right? Make sure you get your free ebook. Okay? Again, this is your call to action. Get yourself started. Why? Because we're going to RTN, I think the last week of October or something, right? Get started now. When you're RTM, you become an expert already, right? In your organization, you become the Windows Server 2012 guy. People will come to you. And throughout the year, we're going to come up with additional content. There's a lot to do with cloud computing, all right? A lot to do with the cloud computing. And so this is really a very critical point for you to get a head start. So when it comes out, you become the leader in your community, and you can help out the rest of your colleagues. And so that's your call to action. Make sure you get the ebook. It's in this link. That's what I have. Any questions on this? I have one question for you. You are in Server 2012. You lie. You got totally confused. What do you do? Windows key. Get you back to the start screen. From start screen, right click, go to all apps, that's right, please. Okay, with that, you will be productive. Very simple. All right, that's all I have. Yes. In 2012, what? In a way, we cut down, but let me explain that for certain operation I know. For instance, before, remember that roles and features? In 2008, you add a row, and it will say you can't do anything more until you reboot. So you do a reboot, you come back and a feature. If that feature happens to be the reboot, and there's another reboot, right? In 2012, there are opportunities. If we can consolidate it, because we have the roles and features all together, the system will consolidate that for you. So there's an opportunity for you to reduce the reboot, but I cannot pinpoint and say, you definitely will reduce one. It really depends the scenario, what's being added. But I can tell you that for Hyper-V, it's still one checkbox to reboot because the architecture changed. Right. The answer is really when there's an opportunity, because we do roles and features all together. So when there's an opportunity, we will consolidate it. There's a chance to reduce that.
When you get to the start screen, if you just start typing as opposed to going over to the search, is it like in Windows
Yes.
8 where it'll just, so you get one screen comes up, type CO1
Yes.
and go to the control panel here?
Yes, the experience is like that. You can just stop typing, you will locate the application for you. That, when you guys get used to the touch device, it really is a different level. Now, next time, when there's an opportunity, probably down the road, when I have a chance to talk about Windows 8, I'll come back, I use Windows 8 to manage the same infrastructure. Because Windows 8 has Hyper-V. Use a Windows 8, a touch device. Now, you keep thinking, well, touch device uses finger. No, you don't need to use a finger. Use a pen. Use a stylus. It's great. I love it. Right? That's kind of my way of doing things. I like that. So, a touch device for me it's also a very nice device for me. And not to mention, I kind of connect everything. Let me just spend 1 minute and talk about something of design philosophy that changed. In Windows 8, one of the important steps that we move out is rather have you to bring a phone, bring a laptop, bring a tablet, and an MP3 player. Right? It's pretty geeky, but it's also very, So we now consolidate the device. You probably will still have a phone. Hopefully, it's a Windows phone, and then you use a Windows 8. That experience is consistent. That synchronization is automatic, right? So at that time, you have one device. Everything's connect to you, as opposed to you try to do everything. So you will have one device, and I will have my Outlook email. I will have my corporate email. I will have my Twitter and social network. I have the subscription. I have my Netflix, everything. Now, you may say, well, you mean you watch movies while you're working? Sometimes, no. I have my manager somewhere, no. Well, the point is, it's a lifestyle change. Years ago, we talked about work-life balance. Did it ever balance? You're on vacation, you still, all right, system, we're on fire. Sky's falling. Come on. You get online, right? It's very hard, and you always see your email. It's just the way that it is. So now we recognize we cannot balance. So what we do is we give you an opportunity to blend it. Which means I may be working, but you know what? I really would like to know what happened to my son's soccer game, which I cannot go. I just go to my Twitter, or my website, I just take a look, and then I go back to work, right? And maybe they just, you know what? We're rolling out to production. I'm on vacation, but I really want to make sure because I'm the guy. Like really, there's a lot of people on stage. I just want to kind of know what's going on. You can go ahead and take a look and come back. It's all in one device. You are still on the driver's seat. You can shut it off, you can turn it on. So the whole design philosophy now changes. You know what? We're going to bring all the information to you. You make the decision when you want to connect, what you want to do with it, as opposed to you have 4 devices, right? That's the whole design philosophy change. That's why you use a window account to log in, as opposed to people say, well, would I use this at work? Yeah. And also, this also connect to bring your own device, right? They all link together. And bring your own device is a key concept in cloud computing. Which part? Ubiquitous access. That's one of the attributes in cloud computing is that anytime, anywhere, I want to be able to access to that application. That's cloud computing. Where do we make that connection? Bring your own device. So you tell me which device you prefer to use. IT going to embrace that, and that particular device going to connect everything for you. That whole thing blended together, it will all make sense. That's why I'm saying Windows 8 is not just that UI. It's a lot. It's the architecture, it's the concept, it's a lifestyle, work style. Really all coming together. We're moving into a new direction, a new era, and it's very exciting because we can be the first guy there. You can be the first guy in your company to help them out, give them the concept, to bring them up to speed, and they can be the leading group in whatever the community they're associated with. One more.
You were talking about desktop experience and you turn that on. What is that going to give you over the top?
The desktop, okay. That UI, that application, that the tile we see, is really a different type of application, right? It's called Windows Store application. And at this time, you don't see that many. What we see is, as we're moving forward, the third-party vendor, the value-added software developer, our partner, they will continue to develop that application. So more and more, you will be using that until at some point in time, maybe the desktop will become irrelevant anymore. Certainly, there's a long way to go. But the whole idea is not bring up that and go into the desktop immediately. It's really we're in a transition. That desktop is a really different type of application. So in the transition period, you may go to that desktop a lot. But more and more as we move down the road, more application coming out. Ultimately, at some point in time, you probably will just stay on different applications. You'll probably open 20 applications throughout the day. It's just when you need it, you go there. So your Twitter is always there. Right? You want to ask questions or you want to follow something, boom, it's just always there. That's the whole idea. Is everything is kind of standing by. And you just tell me what you want. And that whole device is waiting for you. So the desktop, to answer your question, desktop, you will see over time, it will become less and less. Certainly, it's going to be some time because we're still, using the desktop model for so much. Thank you so much. I'll be here. Let's continue the conversation, and I really appreciate all the attention. Thank you very much.